Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated, where I'm pretty excited today. I'm joined by actor, comedian, writer Jason Stuart. So, welcome, Jason.
Hey, how are you today?
I'm pretty good. So, off camera, I was getting ready to tell you how long I've been a fan of yours, but then I thought, no, that's the whole purpose of having an interview. So I hit record. So, first time that I remember seeing you on camera, Fright Night. You were playing Boy George.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I was at the theater. It was probably, I'm guessing, mid '80s. That sound right?
I guess so. It
Yeah,
was really, really a long time ago.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the first, and of course, since then you've been in all the stuff.
They cut
That's
me out of that basically. My whole part was basically cut. I'm hardly
I
in
had
it.
heard that, and that was disappointing. I thought you made a nice. That was, I mean, they remade that movie,
Yeah, I
but that original was the one.
never saw I always wish they would remake movies that were like Bonfire of the Vanities didn't work. I wish they would remake movies
Right.
that needed to be made that didn't work when they made it as a film. That's what I would always like to see.
I love that. Or what Battlefield Earth. I don't know if you remember that one.
That one probably needs to be never remade.
Probably not. It was pretty terrible. It was pretty terrible. Bonfire of the Vanities turned out to be a disaster too, though.
But it was interesting. It wasn't terrible. It was just an interestingly, bad
Yeah.
tone. The tone didn't work.
How about Island of Dr. Moreau? That'd be a
So
good
they
one.
remade that a couple times, and it
Well, they
still
have. It's
yes.
still, yeah, it still hasn't worked.
I just saw Val Kilmer's documentary, and it was so powerful and so wonderful, and also so sad at the same time. And I hope that someday they invent something where he can get his voice back. God bless him.
Yeah, I hope so. He's one of my favorite actors, and I just saw that documentary was out, so I definitely want to check that out. He was brilliant in a few films for sure.
Oh God, Tombstone, The
Tombstone's
Doors.
my favorite movie. I mean, it's amazing.
uh,
Heat.
Heat. Oh, right. Him and Ashley Judd. God, I love
Yeah.
that. Hopefully, someday I'll get some more opportunities to do some wonderful work with wonderful people. I was telling a friend today on the phone that another friend had written a play with a really wonderful role for me in it. And we did a reading of it last night on Zoom. And it was
Why not?
so exciting to, be able to it was twins. I played twins. One was gay, one was straight. And it was really interesting to play these two different guys. One was more flamboyant and one was more conservative. And it was really great to play these two parts. And so great to just do the work rather than keep auditioning, you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, and I'm assuming you're auditioning like most people remotely still.
Always. Yes, I prefer it, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Something.
people have an idea of who they think that I am. Now you're meeting me for the first time after seeing my stand up and seeing
Yeah.
my different everything from, being an openly gay comedian to playing a white heterosexual Christian plantation owner in 1831. So you could see neither one are really me anymore. This is me. This is who I
Yeah.
am.
I love your the part of your comedy act where you're saying that I'll screw it up, but you're basically saying everybody's good looking now. Back in your day, they were all just kind of ugly like you, and I was like, hey, I can relate to that.
Well, you were definitely not ugly. You're adorable.
Oh, thank you. I
So
appreciate that.
no, but I meant in the day that most comedians were characters, and now all these really good-looking people. I go on Clubhouse, and you'd see these pictures of these breathtakingly beautiful women and these very handsome men, and you think to yourself, God, why are they doing comedy? It's
Yeah.
comedy typically is complaining, but I guess that's the new thing. I mean, why don't they want? They can be movie stars, you know,
Well, that is a good point,
and TV
but
stars. But I guess
maybe they're lousy actors.
maybe that's their ticket in. I don't know. It's hard to know.
Comedy's kind of in now, though. Like when I was growing up, it was really it was mostly, well, it was people that were kind of disgruntled about something. that we're doing comedy. But now I think it's kind of it's kind of the cool thing now.
It's a whole different mindset these days.
Yeah. Yeah, so Birth of the Nation, I loved, and it didn't surprise me. Like you were so good in that role, you know. It really, I love history pieces, and you were so perfect in that role. But that didn't surprise me because I've seen you in other things, and I always think you do a good job.
Wow, I don't know what to say. Thank
Well,
you
you're
very
very
much.
versatile.
Bye, everybody. This has been a great interview.
We can't go any better. That's it. It's done.
Yeah.
It's done. We just needed that clip.
That's all. And they can watch the movie on Amazon Prime now. It's a really brilliant movie. And if you like history, and if you like drama, and if you like, passion and seeing things from a different point of view, the film is made from an African American point of view through the brilliantly talented Nate Parker, who was the writer, producer, director, star. It's got Asia Naomi King, Penelope Ann Miller, Roger Danforth Smith.
It's loaded.
Basically, you had to have 3 names to be in the movie. Excuse me.
Well, and you were very, you were a little unlikable in that one, but in a good way. In a good way. You nailed the role.
It's hard times for small farmers like you and myself. Breaking even's hard enough, and getting ahead's impossible.
Yeah. I mean, that's terrific. I mean, were you a history lover growing up?
I've always loved history. I had a teacher, Mr. Theodore, in junior high school, who I think was a gay guy. I'm not sure, but in those days, but he really turned me on to it, and I loved it. And I still have. I love history.
Yeah. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Hollywood, California, in the Fairfax area.
Well, that's impressive that you can do the accents.
Well, I can do a couple accents really well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really you have got the Southern accent down.
Well, thank you.
Have you tried a West Virginian accent yet?
Well, this one from the film takes place in Virginia. That's where Nat Turner was murdered, and that's where.
Yeah, it's pretty close actually to us.
It's also hard to tell because in those days we never heard anybody. So anybody who says they think they know what an accent is for what area, they don't. I don't think so at all.
Yeah, I'd say you're probably right.
Unless you've actually heard a recording of somebody in 1831. I don't even know if there was any recording. I think there's one recording of Lincoln, right?
Yeah. Because you see clips every once in a while, or you'll hear.
Daniel Day-Lewis said he heard that and he would listen to it over and over again. There was a sort of way of people talking, man.
It's a little slower, I think.
Well, it depends, but also, you meet someone else that have a different energy you don't know. I remember one of my favorite character actresses, Cloris Leachman, had talked about playing, this is like 25 years ago, she did a film called A Girl Named Sooner. And she played this woman who was so old, like maybe 80 years old, when she was like probably in her 50s. And it was just an extraordinary performance. She got nominated for an Emmy and everything. I don't know if she won, but I can't remember. She won so many, but it was extraordinary. And I remember she kept saying, well, I learned an accent from this neck of the woods, and I had a teacher but now, that was in, the 80s, I think. Now people move around so much.
Right.
And, I was born in New York, and I was around New Yorkers until I was 5 years old. So I talked like this until I was 5 years old. And I'd say things like, can you get me a soda? That kind of thing. And so my father was from Poland, and I did a film called Tribes a couple of years ago. And they play this man who is Polish, and this is who I am, and I'd like to know who are you to me? Who are you? And so I did, so that most of my accents come from things that I was around a lot.
Yeah, that's terrific. Yeah, if you lived in New York for your first few years, I mean, that's kind of when you develop your language. So
I moved to Los Angeles when I was a year old, but everybody around me still spoke with a New York accent. So.
Yeah, that's great. So I jumped ahead just a little bit. So I always like to start kind of at the beginning. What made you want to get into entertainment? How did you go about that?
I was obsessed with television as a kid and watching and then going to the movies and then the theater. So I was obsessed with the idea of going into a room and having this experience of my opinion changed about something that I knew nothing about. I
Right.
remember, I can tell you the films that sort of changed me. Seeing Funny Girl was, you see this woman plays this woman named Fanny Bryce who was happy on the outside and sad on the inside. And I said, oh my God, that's just like me. You know, and then I realized that that's a woman, and then that was 10 years of therapy. And I remember seeing, oh God, Serpico and
Yeah.
Dog Day Afternoon and Al Pacino movies. I was and Dustin Hoffman in Midnight Cowboy, and then in Lenny, and then Kramer versus Kramer, and then Tootsie, and then
Yeah.
Ellen Burstyn in The Exorcist, and Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, and Same Time Next Year, and all these incredible performances, Resurrection, and I was just so moved by the emotion of everyone.
Yeah.
Even the comedies, What's Up Doc with Robert, which I think is probably with Barbara Streisand and Ryan O'Neal, rather, and one of the best comedies I think of all time. And I was so obsessed with character actors in the film. If you look at James Woods and Sally Kirkland play small parts in
Right.
the way we were. And then if you go to What's Up Doc, you see Mabel Stevenson, Mabel Andrew, I think it was Mabel, oh God, Stevenson from Bewitched, who played the mother, who played the ritual
Right.
stuff. And there was Michael Moriarty and Randy Quaid and Austin Pendleton and Madeline Kahn. And I mean, it was just these incredible people. And then Dustin Hoffman was a big influence on me because he would completely change.
Yeah.
Then he did Agatha with Vanessa Redgrave, and then from that, playing that weird guy, he went to playing comedian Lenny Bruce before that, and then he was in Midnight Cowboy and played a street guy, and then he was in The Graduate and played a young guy, and then he was in Kramer versus Kramer and he played a dad, and then he was in Tootsie and he played an actor, and then he was in so many films. They kept changing. Then he played the Captain Hook and in Hook, and then he would go around, even he had such a love, and then he played the Jewish father in Meet the Fockers, with Barbara Streisand playing the mother. And even though it seemed like something that was close to them, it was great to see that connection. And I love seeing that. It was almost a spiritual, godlike thing for me. When I saw the two films of Kevin Costner, Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
And that whole scene, hey, Dad, would you like a catch? And going back to the moment and I remember when I saw that movie, I thought either you're going to get this or you're not. And that film genuinely changed me. It taught me about forgiveness.
Yeah.
It taught me about the idea of letting go and forgiveness to the wreckage of your past. And then you see Dancing with Wolves, which is, certainly now would not be made because it's a white guy's point of view of the Indians, but I didn't know anything about American Indians.
Right.
And then Wounded Knee was the HBO film that followed up for me, and it taught me all about the country and how, what kind people they were, and the idea that the Indians didn't feel like you could own anything, that the land was for everyone. Wouldn't that be an incredible world to live in?
It would.
And there was a certain poetry to Kevin Costner in those years.
I agreed. Yeah, just about every role he had, kind of had that feel.
Well, that period there, but then he went into, No Way Out, which was a great thriller, and Close, and Michael Douglas, and Fatal Attraction, and there was just so much, and even now there's great films. There's great films now. I mean, one of the best films of the year I thought was, Judas and the Black Messiah.
Really good film.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
About the Black Panther guy who was 21 when he was murdered. And it was incredible to watch that story. And then to see Viola Davis as Ma Rainey was, to me, a master class in acting. And she was so, she completely disappeared and blew me away. And that's the kind of stuff I love. And you see my passion. I could go on for hours.
I know you're a film buff. I love that.
I remember Denzel Washington in Hurricane, and I remember there's this one scene where he says, "You get me out of here, get me out of here," and he had this second moment that came after the first, And I know that wasn't in the dialogue. I have a feeling it wasn't. And he just blew the shit out of me. I mean, it was so, I could go back to his performances that I loved, you know, Cry Freedom when he played Biko, and, you know, and so many just wonderful people. I'm watching Grace and Frankie with my mom, and I said, everybody in this cast, the 4 top leads, have all been either Oscar or Emmy nominated or should have been. I mean, Martin Sheen in Apocalypse Now, or Badlands with Sissy Spacek, and Sam Waterston in The Killing Fields.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what an extraordinary performance.
You just make me want to go watch movies.
Oh, Jane Fonda in Julia is my favorite performance of hers.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
I would say Jane Fonda would be They Shoot Horses, Don't They? Clute, Coming Home, and what was the one I just said?
Julia.
Julia.
Yeah.
And then I would go through a couple of, maybe The Doll Maker. And then she did a film recently with a European director, and she only had a couple scenes that played this actress. I forgot the name of it. And she was beautiful. They put on this aging makeup, you know, because she was just absolutely extraordinary.
Yeah, she's still amazing.
And Lily Tomlin, one of the funniest, should have been nominated for Grandma that she did around 5 years ago. People should go see that film. You know?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one. And I love Lily Tomlin.
You should watch Grandma. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I'll look it up. Did you get to see any of the Field of Dreams game that they had a few weeks ago?
Game?
Yeah, they actually played. It was the Yankees and the White Sox played on the Field of Dreams film, or the field. You have to look this up because
it's still there.
It's still there, and they just added some bleachers. But they start the game, and it's just Kevin Costner walking out of the cornfields by himself, and he's wandering around on this empty field, and he looks, you know, kind of lost. It was a couple weeks ago.
He showed up for this?
He showed up. So he's wandering around the field looking around, and then behind him coming out of the cornfield is the Yankees and the White Sox walking on the field.
Was James Earl Jones just extraordinary in that film?
Oh, he was amazing.
I also love Amy Madigan. I wish they would give her more to do. She's such a brilliant
actress. She is a really good actress. Yeah, you brought up a ton of good movies.
Well, there's so many wonderful actors out that don't. You know, I watch Whoopi Goldberg on The View, and I think, God, why isn't somebody giving her some decent roles?
Yeah, she's an amazing actress. I'd rather watch her act, honestly. She's so good.
Power, you know. I mean, she's fine on the show. It's just opinion show, but you can see that I think she'd rather be acting. I get that impression. I don't know why.
Yeah. So did you do theater growing up?
Not very much. I haven't done a play in 11 years. I certainly I did a play called where it's in my office here. Where is it? Oh, God, wait a second. I can't see. Above the Line, and I played this sort of Scott Rudin Hollywood producer that was just a terror, a monster, but yet a soft little mush in between. And then I had done a play called Viking with Andrew Scott, and I did so in like 5 or 6 years I did a couple plays. But then I started working really hard in the 2010, 9-10 on my acting career that got me to Birth of a Nation, that got me to doing I did probably 50 roles in 10 years, maybe more, 60, you know, different things, everything from a web series to guesting on a major show.
Yeah.
And then I created my show, of course, Smothered, which is on Amazon.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit because you created and starred in it. Talk a little bit about it. What's it about?
Yeah, and I did it with I created it, co-starred in it, co-wrote it with the brilliant Mitch Hara.
Yeah.
Plays my husband in it. We play two men who've been in a relationship for 30 years who hate each other and can't afford to get a divorce. It comes from a very real place. So when you see it, it's very intense, but it's also really laugh out loud funny. When I was doing it, it didn't feel funny. It felt just very intense. But the craziness of it is, and we're working on a second season. Honestly, at 4 o'clock today, after our interview, where I'm in a writing meeting with the director and him. So right
that's
after
great
I
for
go to
season 2.
yeah, I go to that.
Yeah, I think that's because in the last year, all we've done is try to find things to binge. So
Well,
I think
everybody
that's
go watch Smothered. You go to smotheredtv.com.
yeah. I think that's the next one on our list. I'd planned to watch some before I interviewed you, but my wife wants to watch with me, so I was like, okay,
Well, I
we'll
wouldn't
wait.
have told me that. I would have lied a little and just watched
Yeah.
the trailer.
No. Oh,
That's,
now I've watched clips and I've
oh,
watched the
good.
trailers. Hilarious. It looks so funny. I love the idea of these two kind of middle-aged guys in a
I
relationship.
wish we were middle-aged. If we were middle-aged, that means we're both going to live to 100. I don't think that's going to happen.
I can't. I hope that. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm past middle age now too.
I don't know. What is middle-aged? I thought 40 was middle-aged.
Well, 40 probably is. 40, I guess, would be it, right? Because life expectancy is about 80.
People living till 90 now? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. See, I'm hoping that middle aged is still like 50.
Well, we're going to.
But I guess I'm past that.
Tape and I don't know, duct tape and paper clips and scissors. I don't know. Who knows? My mom's is 84. She's going to have a hip replacement. Everybody. The doctor said if she doesn't, she'll be in a wheelchair. And I said, Mom. She says, I don't want. I said, Mom, the pain will be gone. And now, all these fake parts. Now she's going to be able to get off the medication and she'll be able to walk straight again. It'll hurt a little, and then she'll just keep getting better. Otherwise, you just keep getting worse.
That's right.
I'd like to have my head removed and put a better one on.
Back in the 80s, because we're close to the same age. So back in the 80s, did you have 80s hair?
Oh my God, yes.
Me too.
On the internet, I had my hair parted down the middle and layered.
Yes, I had feathered. I was more like the Sean Cassidy type look.
Yeah, feathered. Yeah, I had that look. And then I went from that to the, the sort of Hugh Grant floppy thing. And then I went back to the George Clooney, Caesar cut. And then from that, it just sort of went away.
Yeah. I used to complain about that hair back in the 80s, but
I also had a mullet. I forgot about
Oh, no, you didn't. You didn't.
Yeah, I had a mullet. I had a little perm at one time, and then I also had the spiked up hair.
Oh yeah, you had the big hair.
Yeah, I had the big hair. I was like, Amadeus or somebody.
That's hilarious.
I always looked like I was in a rock band.
The only thing I'll say is this: so easy. It's so easy.
Yeah, but we both have fabulous heads, don't we?
Well, I appreciate that. My wife says it's kind of lumpy, but I appreciate it.
I'm sick of her. Come over to my house and hang with me.
Oh shoot! Yeah, you'll learn. Your weather's a little bit better than ours too.
I won't allow any clothes, but you'll be a.
Oh shoot! This I was so excited to talk to you because you really have been on so many programs that I like. You hit like all of the sitcoms. You made a run through all of them.
No, I haven't been on a lot of them.
You've been on a lot of them.
I not really. I mean, anyway. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yes, I've not done so well. I don't want to. I'm trying to talk you into not liking me.
No. I enjoy. You were on this. If I remember, you tell me if I'm wrong. But there was a show. I think it was a Stephen Bochco.
I did it.
Right?
Murder
One. Yeah, I love that show.
That was the beginning of binging.
I love that show.
I played a secretary wanting to. I can't remember. John. Oh God, wonderful actor. Oh God, I forgot his name.
He was a bald actor.
He played the secretary on the show, and they fired him, or something happened, and they were going to replace him with me, and then I turned out.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the lead actor. Okay.
I forgot his name. He was a performance artist who was part of the four that got in trouble, and they fought to get their rights to get grants, and he was a part of that. And wonderful. I'm forgetting his last name. I could look it up if you want. But
That well, so was what Murder One? Wasn't it the one that it was like the first show that the whole season was one crime?
right, which they thought, oh, that will never work. Who's
Yeah.
going to want to watch a show with one thing going through the whole? And then that, and then that became the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that show. It didn't last long enough. It was a little ahead of its time.
2 seasons. The first guy on the season, apparently, I forgot the actor's Daniel with a B something, and they were obsessed with it. They were obsessed with the whole show. But I think I was obsessed. Rather, I'm doing two things at once. But I had heard that they got rid of him. He was such a problem. I had heard, that, and then they replaced him with another actor. Who was just who I'm going to look it up.
I was going to say, look it up.
And they had
that's right. Yeah. Are you talking about? So the original actor, he was that bald gentleman. Yeah, really good actor. And then something happened and he got replaced for the second
John
season.
Fleck was the guy who played the Secretary Lewis.
Okay.
And Daniel Benazali was the guy that he was first, and then they replaced him with Anthony LaPaglia, who I later met and socialized with a bit, and worked with him. He was wonderful to work. He says, Jason, if there's anything I can do with for you, please let me know when we were working on our scene. And I said, don't ever talk to me like that again. And then I met him and his wife socially, and we've hung out a number of times.
Oh, that's nice.
I mean, the cast was incredible. I mean, Jason Gedrick, Dylan Baker, Stanley Tucci.
Oh, Jason Gedrick I forgot he was on.
Barbara Blossom, who was terrific. Mary McCormick's first big thing, I think. Joe Spano, who I loved.
Yeah.
It's really
it was such a good show.
Yeah. I mean, Ralph Waite even was on it. I mean, one character actress named Jessica Tuck, who I've seen on a million. Eileen Heckard was in it. And Kevin Tighe and Donna Murphy, the Broadway actress, who's a singer who won the Tony, and Peter Onorati. I think I'm saying it wrong. And all sorts of really wonderful people.
Yeah, it was well casted. Yeah, I'll tell you why I decided to try to get you on the show. So I was just sitting, and we just had TV playing in the background. I was watching the grandkids, and your episode of Sunny in Philadelphia came on.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I was like, I love that guy. I have got to get him on the show. That was why I did it.
Oh wow!
Yeah, because it just reminded me. I was like, I got to get him.
That was fun to do. It was the first time I was on a set where everybody was on the cell phone. I thought, what's going on here? That was the first time that sort of happened, and everybody was on the flip phones. And people were texting, and that's when that started.
Yeah, because back then that's all you could really do with them was text.
Text and call. Yeah.
But that is started.
Danny DeVito had been a friend of Joe Santos, who played Dennis Becker on the Rockford Files. And when he came to Los Angeles, he actually lived in the maid's room of his house. And I remember that Rhea Perlman, his girlfriend at the time, came over to the house from New York, and she's sitting there at the bar, and she goes, this town is fucking, can I say that here?
Oh, yeah, you're fine.
This town is fucking awful. I mean, I'm never going to get a job. They don't like my type. I'm going back to New York where I belong. And then, a couple of years later, she got Cheers and won all those Emmys, and her whole life changed.
Yeah, Cheers was an amazing show. One of my favorite shows. The Rockford Files still is one of my dad's. He was a big James Garner fan. Big fan of that show.
Oh, I met him there was a party at Joe Santos's house once. It was somebody's birthday. It was a big event, and I was invited. And I was sitting at a table, and James Garner goes, "Hi, I'm James Garner." And I said, "I'm Jason Stuart." And he said, "Yes." And I said, he said, "Nice to meet you." He said, "I'm James Garner." I said, "Yes, I know."
It's Maverick. Yeah, James Garner is a great actor. I always enjoyed watching those. Mom and Dad were really good about allowing us to stay up late to watch good shows or good movies. It had to be something worthwhile, but we would get to do that on occasion. So I got to see a lot of the.
Oh God, he was so great, and he was also a wonderful romantic comedy person. He did the movie "Move Over, Darling," which was the which was the movie that was called Something's Gotta Give. It was supposed to be with Marilyn Monroe and Dean Martin, and it never got made because she passed away. She got fired for something, and then they turned it over to Move Over Darling with Doris Day and James Garner, who I think was just as wonderful. And she did 2 movies with him, I think. These romantic comedies were just, about these white rich people, Christians. The woman hated the man at the beginning of the film, and by the end, she would love him, which really taught us all how to behave in our relationships.
That's right.
Find someone you just don't like, and then push yourself on them, and then by the end of the movie, they will want you.
It'll work out.
Time's up.
Did you ever? You'll have to help me with the name. Rock Hudson did a movie where he had written a book about fishing, and then he was at a resort.
Is it called Send Me No Flowers?
No, that doesn't sound right. He was he was at a resort, and they thought they thought he was like this great fisherman, and he ends up in a fishing competition, but he didn't know how to fish.
Who did he do it with?
I don't remember, but it was the funniest movie, and I remember him and the lead actress. They fall asleep in a tent, and they wake up, and they're floating on the lake. The tent's just floating on the lake.
Are you sure it was Rock Hudson?
Rock Hudson, maybe The Sporting Life, maybe? Does that sound?
Man's Favorite Sport.
Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was done in 1964, and that was with Paula Prentice from Where the Boys Are.
Yeah.
And, oh, God, I love Paula Prentice. Didn't have a big career, but I just love it. She was the original Bette Midler role that she did in the later remake. She was so good in the oh God, what was it called? It was called it was a thriller, and then they changed it into a comedy. It's called The Stepford Wives. Yes, The Stepford Wives.
Oh, The Stepford Wives.
Bobby Vaughn. Yeah, she was so good in that. Man,
yeah, you really are a film buff. That's impressive.
I love movies, and I love TV, and I love theater.
I'm surprised. Well, I was going to say I'm surprised you haven't done a podcast, but you've done a radio show.
I have done 5 different podcasts.
Oh, you have? Okay. Yeah. It makes sense because when your head is full of useless knowledge, that's what mine is. It's just
during COVID, me and my friend Galen Howard did a little Instagram show where we dissected a film, and then we dissected somebody's, career, and what people like character actors that were sort of obscure, but I don't think enough people were interested.
See, I would have watched or listened. I like character actors.
Well, for me, the next thing you can watch, because I have to go pretty soon, but the next thing you can watch, I'm going to play this guy Charles, who's the head of the board in a pharmaceutical company, in an episode of Goliath that'll air, I believe, October 29th. It stars Billy Bob Thornton, and my scene is with Bruce Dern and J.K. Simmons and Haley Joe Osment.
Oh my gosh, that's loaded. Goliath is
everybody
is
either had an Oscar or had won one.
Yeah,
it was very intimidating. But
yeah, Goliath is an excellent show, and I was going to ask you when that was the new season was going to air, because I did see
it starts in September, and I'm in episode 6.
All right, well, I'll be looking out for it because I've watched all of them so far. So I saw that you were in it. I was trying to remember. I was like, well, has season 4 come out? Did I already watch that? But it hasn't. So that's the new one.
And if they want to see my stand-up, just go to jasonstuart.com, STUART. There's an appearance page, and if there's a show in your area, if you can't, you can certainly get my new CD called I'm the Daddy and I Have Candy. And you can listen or you can get my old one, Gay Comedy Without a Dress, or watch my special, Making It to the Middle, or see little sniglets of stuff online.
And you've got a book as well?
Oh, yes, I forgot. Called Shut Up, I'm Talking. Autobiography. It's about coming out in Hollywood and making it to the middle. And it's available on Amazon. And also, if you want it signed copy, you can send me an email through my website on the contact page through my company, Modern Artist, and I will figure that out with you. We usually have Venmo or PayPal.
Yeah. Well, Jason, this has just been a blast for me. You have to come back. There's so much more we can talk about.
Well, I'd love to.
Yeah, I would love that. But before you go, I know you've got Goliath coming out. You're working on the second season of Smothered.
Right. So you can watch Smothered. Go to smotheredtv.com, or if you forget that, just go to jasonstuart.com and there's a Smothered button. It'll take you right to it. And you can see it on Amazon, YouTube, Apple TV, Reverie. There's like 10 different places you can watch it.
Excellent. Anything else that you have upcoming that we can keep an eye out for?
Not as of yet. There is one film that I really did that I love. It's called Immortal, and I did it with Dylan Baker and Sam.
It's an excellent movie.
Yeah, and so many wonderful people, and it's a really great movie about these 4 different people who just won't die. And I'm in segment 4 of that, and I play this private investigator who deals with spyware, and it's one of my favorite parts. So I have this nice elongated scene. And I really love working on that film.
Yeah, that one I've seen. That one's really good.
It's a good movie, yeah.
It's a really good movie. Okay, last thing. You gave the website. Is there any social media that we have?
On jasonstuart.com, if you go there, all my social media is there. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, anything you want, you can go on there. It will connect you to it.
Terrific. All right. All right, sir. Hold on one second. I'll hit the... So that was fun. So Jason Stuart, I should just let him talk. He didn't even need me to prompt him at all. He was excellent. He's terrific. I've always been a fan of his. I think he's such a underrated actor, and he's a bit of a character actor himself and does just a terrific job. And I'm sure you've seen him in a ton of stuff. He didn't really want to go into a lot of that stuff, but he's been on Sleepy Hollow, Entourage, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, The Closer, Everybody Hates Chris, George Lopez, House, Drew Carey Show, Murder One, Sequest, Charmed, Murder, She Wrote, and a ton more. He's got like 150 credits. So really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. So hope you enjoyed that as well. If you haven't done so yet, would really appreciate if you could go to our YouTube channel, MeisterCon Pod, give us a like and a subscription. Really appreciate it. Or you can find us on our website, meistercon.com, where we're closing in on 300 episodes now, audio and video. Hundreds of interviews. I guarantee there'll be somebody you like. So please, please, please check that out. It'll also let you know what Brett and I are up to. It's got a blog from Brett that's geeky and fun and just so well written. So I know you'll enjoy it. So please check that out. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thanks to Jason. Till next time. Bye, everybody.